Hello everyone, welcome back to Fraud on the Telly. In today's video, we need to talk about what happened in episode 3 of Exandria Unlimited Calamity. An absolutely insane episode where we saw comrades turn on each other, events unfold, secrets revealed, and most importantly, the start of the calamity. And who would have thought it was Aabria Iyengar that was responsible for the calamity all along? Obviously, that's a bit of a joke, but in all seriousness, who could have saw the events of last night's episode coming? As always, if you enjoyed the video and learned something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Go check out some of our EXU Calamity and Critical Role content, like our theory video that we put out the other day, which, well, we were a little wrong, but I was surprisingly right about a lot of stuff, which we found out in this episode. Okay, let's get into it. So, where we last left off, the cast was just getting into a massive battle as they were going to check on the helmswoman who they had believed had just been attacked. They're confronted by Laerryn and a big battle ensues. Demons start popping up. It's crazy. Battle takes a while though. Eventually, our heroes overwhelm the odds, defeating several different kinds of devils. More importantly though is what happens after combat. Finally, Patia ask the question that I have been asking. What if Xerxes' husband Evandrin isn't dead? Well, it turns out that yes, in fact, Asmodeus was telling the truth. Xerxes is being lied to. We come to learn that Xerxes has had his memory changed, blocked out. He asked Patia to modify his memory so he would forget what happened to his husband Evandrin. We come to learn, and as I was kind of right in my theory video in a way, Laerryn is the one that was responsible for Evandrin going missing. You see, Laerryn, in her experiments testing, for some reason thought it would be a good idea to send her best friend to another plane. You see, Patia tried to revive Evandrin, but the spell failed because, ta-da, he wasn't actually dead. That's because, well, we don't exactly know what happened to Evandrin. He seems to be stuck somewhere in another plane, and that all has to do with the Tree of Names, but we'll get to that in a second. They go through one of these infernal mages' memories that they have slain. After using a bunch of spells to try to reverse a modified memory spell on this mage, they learn that Laerryn wants them to land the city. Apparently, once the city is landed, it will be possible for them to release the Betrayer Gods, as the Betrayer Gods apparently want to come to Cath Moira. Travis's character, Sarah, like a Giga Chad, has enough of everyone's lies and dishonesty, saying there's been a lot of selfish acts here tonight. It's time I go take care of mine. As he leaves, presumably, we come to find out, going to try to secure his family's safety as things are all going to The rest of the cast head off to the Arboreal Calyx. For the first time in a long time in Critical Role history, we get some inter-party conflict. I'm talking initiative roll-in conflict. See, Quay, Sam's character, rolls a nat 20 on investigation when they enter the Calyx. He sees a small light on the tree that none of the others can see. He points it out, come to see this was in fact the buoy that Laerryn sent to another plane, or so she believed in the last episode. It's somehow stuck here by the tree. Laerryn, being Laerryn, which I have to give credit to Aabria here, man. These guys all play their characters extremely well, to a T of how the character would be played. Yes, that is frustrating because they're making decisions that me as an audience member, I'm like, please, God, no. But at the same time, they're playing characters. It's a show. So I have to applaud them for that. They then piece together that if this is what happened to Laerryn's buoy, this is most likely what happened to Evandrin. When she tried to send Evandrin to another plane in the test, the tree somehow intercepted him. This is how his body was just ripped from the fabric of reality, as it seems he either resides in another plane or somewhere between a plane. Laerryn, believing this tree is evil and somehow, I don't know, has her friend attempts to cast Blight on it. Titus luckily stops her for now using a hold person spell. Just popping off now as inter-party conflict has started, initiative has rolled. This last hour of the show had me absolutely on the edge of my seat, as it seemed like any major decision that was going to be made here is going to have big consequences. Patia casts legend lore touching the tree. She's given this intense vision of her grandfather, as he was the one that last interacted with the tree. As this happens, Laerryn's Clockwork Sorcerer comes in, cats freaking disintegrate on Nidus, but Xerxes manages to dispel it. Everything's just popping off. Way manages to break free from the hold person. He as well touches the tree, getting his own vision. He sees the leader of his Fey court strewn before him. They tell him, do not let her find the names of which she speaks. A great evil moves across the face of Exandria. Patia's vision shifts to one of the schism as she sees two great primordials, ones that were sealed under the mountain of that Cath Moira rests on, where the city was taken from, if we remember our history. This great battle we knew occurred in the schism between the primordials and their allies of the betrayer gods versus what will be known as the prime deities. She learns through these visions that these primordials were sealed underneath this mountain. This information has been lost to time for many of those in the world, except for the druids who tend this spot. See, this is when it all starts to get super crazy. Patia gets this massive lore drop, this memory. The druids tended seals, runic seals under the mountain to keep these primordials in place, to keep them sealed here. This was why they did not want the Wizards of Aabria to take the top of the mountain, though they eventually struck a bargain. What if in return for taking the mountain, the wizards would return to them a source of magic, a large source of magic that would help enrich the land and would help allow them to keep the world safe? That is their plan. The druid created the Tree of Names. This tree is in fact not some evil siphoning thing of magic, but a pin that writes a spell across the ley lines of Exandria as the city moves over its entire journey. For over 300 years, this tree and the magic that it's been siphoning has been casting a perspective spell over Exandria, basically preventing things from other planes, bad things I would imagine, from entering. Thus then it makes sense why it would stop this, I guess, attempt to send something from another plane that we see from Laerryn. Randomly though, the tree shoots these freaking spines out, impaling both Laerryn and Patia. At least that's what Laerryn sees. Seeing this, obviously in a panic because she thinks this tree is evil, she again reaches forward as she is now free of the whole person, casting Blight on the tree. Oh god, Aabria, you brave soul, man. The Blight spell hits the tree, shattering it in two. Where the tree remains, there is a fiery gate, a portal ripped asunder. Two hands reach through, tearing it open as a deformed Vespin Chloras looks through. Seems as though maybe Vespin was deceiving them and maybe they weren't actually seeing visions of Evandrin in the tree. I'm not exactly sure here. I don't really know. Suddenly they hear the voice of Asmodeus, the Lord of the Hells, as he says, "It's good to be home." They see his face within the portal and the episode just ends. Wow, not how I thought the Calamity was going to start. You know, I feel a little bad for Aabria here. She was only playing her character and what she thought was right. But wow, yeah, I don't even know what to say. It seems as though Brennan was almost a bit shocked that she actually did this, even though, to be fair, it does make sense in her character since episode 1. This is definitely something in her character that she would do. I can't really say I was too surprised that she actually did this. More the fact that it actually brought about the Calamity. You know, for a second, I was almost convinced that, yeah, this tree is a problem. I could see where Laerryn and Aabria were coming from their character's point of view. But then, by the end, you know, before it's too late, Brennan does a great job of dropping all of this epic lore. You see, he did that for a reason. He was withholding a lot of this information, obviously because he doesn't want his players to meta. So, I think it's interesting that he decides to give it to us once Laerryn has committed to releasing the spell. It's cool that my theory, in a way, was kind of right, seeing as we thought that Laerryn was behind what happened to Evandrin in a way, and it seemed obvious that her husband Quay, Sam's character, was covering up for her. Little did I know it was going to be this depth, it was this deep. The Calamity has begun. Asmodeus and Vespin Chloras now are able to come into this plane. The tree that was protecting Exandria for over 300 years has now been destroyed. Soon the Betrayers will launch their surprise attack on Vasselheim that was mentioned earlier by Acacia Hollow. And truly, the world is going to change forever as we know it. I'm curious to see what more impact our cast will have on the events of the Calamity. They've already saved Pervon, probably further changing the Calamity in some kind of way. As well, it seems that Aabria has actually started it, as she seems to be the one that is responsible for freeing Asmodeus and the other betrayers possibly from their pocket plane, I guess, where they've been stuck. What more can I say? This is easily one of the best D&D shows I have ever seen. The cast is amazing. The story is amazing. The combat's amazing. I'm not even a big D&D combat guy. I'm much more of a role play story type person. That's what I like to watch. But even the combat throughout the first half of this episode was very enjoyable to watch. Brennan presented an amazing challenge for these players, and they overcame it very well. Yeah, I mean, what more can I say? Inter-party conflict is amazing. It's awesome. These big stakes. I love the lies between characters to each other. All this information is tumbling down. It's crazy how in-depth of a characters that all of these people have made for just a short campaign miniseries. I'm gonna be pretty sad when this miniseries finally comes to an end, but until then, we're gonna enjoy every moment and break it all down while we can. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think of this episode? Do you love it as much as I do? Hopefully, we all can forgive Aabria for basically being the canon reason why possibly the Calamity has started. So, bless you, Aabria, and your chaotic energy. We love you. As always, if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Go check out some of our other Critical Role content. As well, follow all my socials so you can stay up to date with everything that we're doing. And I hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Peace, love. Adieu.